everyone, Cherry here. I'm not in my regular recording setup because I want to make this video as soon as possible and get it up because I do not feel comfortable making any other video until I address this first. I feel that I have a social responsibility to do so, and I want to let you all know what my stance is because silence is being on the side of the oppressor, and what I'm going to be talking about here is Black Lives Matter. That apparently is a very controversial thing to say, so I want to say it the very beginning of this video, so if you're not into that, if you want to argue with me, you can click out and leave. But if you are interested in learning more about what's going on and a way for you to figure out how you can help, keep on watching. I feel like the more that people talk about this, the more this conversation can feel less uncomfortable and less taboo. Now, when people say all lives matter in response to Black Lives Matter, when you bring that up during the conversation of Black Lives Matter, that derails the topic at hand. We live in a white supremacist society, and it's a bold statement to make, but it's the truth. And one book that you all have to read, if you haven't already, is the book called Lies My History Teacher Told Me. It is a book about the lies your history teacher has taught you in the American education system. There's so much about American history that is incredibly violent, and yeah, in like Pocahontas they show you the violence, but it was way worse than that. There are so many instances where Black communities have been targeted post-slavery. Like, it's a thing. And what people don't realize is segregation was not that long ago. It was only a couple generations ago. And these beliefs of racial inequality and white supremacy passed down from generation to generation. People don't realize that just because something happened a long time ago doesn't mean that it can still have its after effects. Because America is still a pretty new country compared to a lot of other countries in the world. And the abolition of slavery and desegregation, well, in the grand scheme of things, those are pretty recent events, considering the long history of a bunch of other countries and the general history of the world being how old it is. It's very, very recent. I think the problem as well is that when you call someone out as racist, people take that so personally offensive. Like, I'm not racist. Racist people are bad. I am a good person. But the reality is that racism is ingrained into society at a level that is almost subliminal. And so when someone calls you out on that, you feel defensive because that's all you've known all your life. You don't think that you were raised improperly. You don't think that you are a bad person. But I'm not saying that it's okay to be racist, but it's no surprise that you are because of how this is. So you have to take the effort to unlearn. And the only way you can take that effort to unlearn is when someone calls you out on being racist, stop and think, do they have a point? You know what? Maybe I am racist. Maybe I am. And maybe I should try to fix that. The whole thing is I want to encourage people to unlearn the racism and admit the fact that you might very well be racist. If someone says you're racist, they could be trolling or they might have a point. And it's up to you to explore that. It's not like if someone says like, oh, you're ugly, like, oh, I'm ugly, like this is my problem. I have to suffer with this ugliness. But if someone says you're racist, like racist is like, you know, it's not like you can see your racism. Racism may influence you to potentially harm others with words or actions or microaggressions. It may influence your support for other people that have power to create laws, you know, have power. So it's a big deal. So I don't really know how to fix all of those things. I have no idea, but I do think that the first step in making a change is by making these conversations less scary, less awkward, less taboo, and not be afraid to say that Black Lives Matter. It's not a controversial thing. It should be something that shouldn't be afraid to say. I do want to mention as well that with a lot of video clips that are floating around, they aren't video clips. So you always have to think, no matter what, that there is something that happened before and after this video clip. That is only a tidbit of the situation. And there are cases of people taking a tidbit of the situation and twisting it to go this way or that way or whatever. So anytime I find a video clip on Twitter, I do try to look through the comments and see if there's any additional footage or any other people explaining like what's going on in there. But mainly what I've been able to gather through not only just videos, but also people tweeting and people that I know personally that have been able to go out into these protests is that the police isn't having it regardless. People that are just, sitting, protesting and everything, the police is still making the crowd disperse. Like, the police doesn't want people to protest. And that, my friends, is the scary thing. I mean, there's a video of CNN reporters being arrested live on air by police officers. And the thing is, the police wanted everyone to clear the area. The CNN anchor said very politely, "Tell us where you would like us to go and we will go there." That doesn't sound like they're trying to challenge. You can look it up yourself. It is crazy. And they still got arrested. They got released. But still, couldn't the police officer just told them to go or just give them an order or something? Like, it was very, very weird. There have also been instances of police officers joining in with the protesters and saying that they have had enough as well, and they are moved by the protesters. Now, that's great and all, but I do like looking at that stuff. It gives me hope. But I do raise the question, are you just doing this today, or will they go back and try to advocate for changes in the system as well? That's the big question. And that also leads me to say this. I am very proud of seeing so many people speak up about this that have not spoken up about it before. So I am very proud of seeing so many people speak up about this, saying Black Lives Matter, and not being afraid to stand up for what is, like I said, a social justice and human rights thing. Now, I do want to take note that I have noticed that there, and I am going to be taking note of how this continues afterwards, because it is very trendy to hop on something that everyone else is saying. But are you going to be continuing saying those things when no one else is? That's how you know you have integrity and truly believe in a cause. I noticed that there are some music people that I follow. I follow a lot of SoundCloud music producers and DJs. And I noticed that a lot of them are promoting their charity stream. Donating to charity is amazing. There are links in the description box for charities that you can donate. But money is money. Money can mean a lot to someone, or money can mean nothing to someone. So charity is also free publicity. And I do raise an eyebrow to those who are only posting about their charity stream, aka promoting themselves, letting people know they exist as a artist, if you will, an artist that, stands up for social change. But will they be a part of the change themselves? Will they be an advocate for booking diverse lineups and shows? Are they going to, speak up against microaggressions? If someone says, racial slur, are they going to speak up for that? Because in electronic music scene, it would not be what it is today if it were not for the influence of Black American pop culture and music. It has heavily influenced. The source is from those communities. These electronic musicians that are making music, their music would be nothing without the influence of Black Americans and their creations. So something I'm taking note of as well. And finally, I am trying to take note of K-pop stars to see if they will say anything. I'm not really expecting them to, because they're not American. However, a lot of K-pop is largely influenced by Black American culture. And it would be incredibly impressive if BTS, who I am a fan of, speak up about this in some fashion. I also do have links in the description as well for ways you can help out for those that are still dealing with the pandemic. We do not have a vaccine. And I am worried seeing all of these clusters of people together where the infection can still spread, especially in New York, where I don't think right now things are currently back to normal. I mean, no place in the country is back to normal as it was before the pandemic. So I am afraid that this will make things worse in the case of the coronavirus. It's scary, but this wouldn't be an issue if the police wasn't corrupt.
Hello, this is Cherry's Unicorn George. The video was filmed on her phone and the audio and video got all out of sync, and somehow the audio at the end of the video ended earlier than the actual video. But as always, thanks for watching, and you'll see Cherry, and maybe hear from me, in the next video of hers you decide to click on. Bye.